Alright, now at this point I have discussed with you the first 8 Roman numerals on your notes outline. And I'm going to stop there. That's going to be the end of Unit 1. Now I know you've got a lot more. You've got like 2 more pages of stuff. Forget it. We'll do it in the next unit. I don't want to kill you too hard. So, what are we going to do now to prepare for our first exam? Well, I want you to very carefully watch these videos and rewatch them. I want you to take notes. Okay? Everything that will be on the Unit 1 test came from this list of 15 videos. Okay? 15 videos at no more than 10 minutes each come up to about 150 minutes. That's really not all that much. If we were in the class or in the classroom, there'd be more time that you would have of information to cover. But we're going to just stop right there because to make sure that everybody gets a good start on their test grades and stuff. Okay. So all of these Roman numerals and these letters are potential identifications. So usually when I have an identification, by the way, what an identification is, in case you've forgotten, is I will give you a term and I will ask you to write or to tell me everything that you know about it. Okay? Everything that we've discussed anyway. Not everything you know necessarily, but everything that I've discussed in the videos. Okay? So if we look through Roman numerals 1 through 8, by the way, we skipped 5, right? We didn't do 5 at all, so that's a help. If you look at, say, Roman numeral 1, letter C, Prince Henry the Navigator, he'd make a great identification. Okay, some of these things make better identifications than others. Okay, sometimes things don't, like some of these letters, don't really lend themselves to an identification. For example, well, I don't know. For example, okay, that one we just did not long ago, Numbers, Roman numeral 8, letter H, Numbers. What am I asking you? If you see numbers, are you going to tell me what a number is? Now that would be kind of confusing. Okay, so I won't really give you things that don't make good identifications as an identification. That doesn't mean you don't need to know those numbers because they are important. You'll need to talk about those in a different context, though. Okay. So there'll be some identifications on there for you to write about. Tell me about important events that we've discussed. There will very likely be a few multiple choice on there for you to kind of give me an answer to some of the information we discussed. That's where you'll see the numbers and stuff most likely. Okay, and then there will be an essay question. Now what I want to do right now is to kind of tell you what to expect in terms of that essay. A good hint, a good solid hint on what to look for in your essay. Okay, you ready? You listening? You close? On your essay, I will ask you to tell me how Europeans, Africans, and Americans, referring to American Indians, came together to create what became the early colonial American culture. Okay, how do Europeans factor into the story into becoming what became the Americas? How do Africans factor into the story? How do American Indians factor into the story? Okay. Now, I've talked about all these things, and I've talked about how they've all worked together to create what is now American culture. Okay. But I need you to tell me that back. How do Africans factor in there? Of course, are the labor supply. How do Europeans factor in there? Of course, are the conquerors. And how are the American Indians factor in? The biggest group in the Americas from the beginning were, of course, the American Indians, right? But they seem to lose out. They don't really get much out of the deal, do they? They certainly don't. Why? What happened with them? Why don't they just kill all these Europeans and send the Africans back home and go back to the way they lived before? Okay? That's going to be one of the things you want to talk about as you discuss your essay, how these 3 groups came together to create what became the Americas. I'm looking for something in the textbook that I'd like you to read here. Give me just a minute, because that'll help you with that answer as well. This idea of the Columbian Exchange. Okay, page 442. There's a section of your textbook called the Columbian Exchange, Disease, Animals, and Agriculture. And that is all about that interaction that became the American culture that we know today. Okay, Columbian refers to Columbus because he's the one who got it all started. Okay, this exchange. American Indians brought something to the picture. Africans brought something to the picture. Europeans brought something to the picture. And when you mix all three of those up, you get America as we know it today. Okay, now when I say America, of course I'm referring to North and South America. I'm not talking about the United States exclusively. Sometimes when we think about the term America, we're only referring to the United States. It's not really accurate because anybody on either of these two continents can call themselves Americans. Okay, and that's what I'm talking about here. So I want you to tell me how these three groups work together. Now, if you have any questions about this, feel free to consult me on the discussion board through an email by giving me a call. It'd be hard to catch up with me if you call, though. You probably want to just send an email or discussion board. Discussion board's best, though, because then we can all talk about it. We can all kind of share ideas. You can help each other out, and I can help you all out at the same time. Okay? The test opens on June the 14th. And will remain open through that week through June the 18th. Make sure you get your appointment. I would say to get it right now. Go get you an appointment. Click on that thing under online learning on the Colin website and schedule your appointment because they will fill up. Okay? Alright, well that's all I have to say regarding Unit 1. Okay, it's Roman numeral 1 through 8 with the exclusion of 5 because we skipped that one. Look for identifications. That means I'm going to give you a term and I want you to tell me everything that we discussed regarding that term. I'll give you some multiple choice. Okay, you know about those. You've probably done those a million times. And I'll ask you in an essay format to tell me how these three factors, these three groups of people came together to create what is now America. Okay? To kind of help you along with that, look in your textbook on page 442. Chapter 18 in general is very good material regarding this topic, but you know 442 is really where it really kind of gets going on how these three groups interacted. Okay? Any questions? I didn't think so. Okay, well feel free to contact me if you have questions, if you need some help with these things, if you need to discuss them more. Oh yeah, one more thing about an essay. When you write an essay, what you have to do is make a point. When you do an identification, you can just dump your brains out. Just tell me everything you know, okay? And don't worry about form or content. I don't grade grammar. I don't grade spelling. I don't care about any of that. As long as I can get what your point is, it's fine, okay? But on an essay, I also don't grade grammar or spelling on an essay, by the way, so relax about that, okay? But on an essay, you need to make a point. You have to. What you do when you write an essay is you have a point to make, and you give information to prove that point, okay? You're building a case to make this point seem true, to make it make good sense to me, the reader, okay? So think about that. When you think about how these all came together, you think about, you know, America has been influenced by, in various ways. I'm kind of helping you come up with your point, you know. America has been influenced by various different groups, while the Europeans had political dominance over both the Africans and the American Indians. They didn't have cultural dominance because elements of both African and American Indian culture survive today. Alright? You good? Hope so. Well, anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Feel free to contact me if you have questions. You have some time before your test opens up. Make sure you watch and rewatch the videos. Make sure you take notes. Make sure you understand everything very clearly. Or, if you don't understand them very clearly, ask somebody. See y'all later.